guys know what I can't wait to do? Let me tell you what I can't wait to do. I cannot wait to get Party Foul Steve back in the studio. I guess I'll see him this week. I'll see him Thursday when I go back to Texas for my live show at Do-Si-Do in Spring, Texas. Legendary Do-Si-Do. And, yeah, I guess I'll talk to him then. Maybe I'll talk to him on Friday about this. I don't know. I'm gonna have to save up my words on how I want to ask him this question. Because I'm in Seabrook, Texas on Friday night. Put that on right there. Till Rumble decides to give us the live feature for this hour. Whoop out, they're going over here. I want to ask Party Foul Steve about stalking deer. Let me read some text messages to you from Party Foul Steve. I texted him yesterday because here at the little cabin in the woods, it was snowing. And I sent him a video of the snow. And here's what he responds back to me, Party Foul Steve. Here's what he says. He says, I'll watch in a bit, stalking today. He's deer hunting, okay? Just had a doe and 2 yearlings go by less than 20 yards, never saw me. Take it easy, Rambo. Take it easy. A doe and 2 yearlings. Steve, you know, he's over there on that deer property over there on the ranch there in East Texas. Been camping out. He's out there on the lamb. And he keeps sending me the trail cam, these deer that are coming around at night. And then he tells me the next day that somebody on the next lot over killed that deer. So last night at 8:15, I texted him. I said, how was the stalk? I love that boy so much. He said, it went good. I did see one buck, but it was too brushy. Couldn't tell what kind of horns he had. About 50 yards from me in a thicket. He never saw me either. Look at Steve being all stealthy. Who knew? He probably had his shoes off walking in his socks. He said, I walked 1.5 miles back to camp with no flashlight this evening. That's how bright it's been. He says, really hard to stalk. It's really... Quit, mute that thing in my ear. He says, it's really hard to stalk. You have to go sit down somewhere for 30 minutes or so. It's so dry you can hear anything coming. I'm like, well, first of all, Steve, you and I weigh 220 pounds. It's hard to stalk anything, dude. Party Foul Steve out there on the stalk, man. It's Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day. Steve's a Marine. And, yeah, I know. They're called antlers, but you can call them horns. Trust me. If you're a deer hunter, you don't have a problem calling them horns. We know all about the horns. I can show you a lot of horns. David Medina's behind the scenes. That's what I'm fussing at, David. David had some bad fish and chips last night. He don't want me to tell you that. I'm going to get in everybody's personal business today. David had some bad fish and chips. I had a couple of cups of coffee this morning, so you know what? Everybody's loose around here. How you guys doing, man? I'm excited to be with you. I'm having the best time right now at the little cabin in the woods and doing Before the Noise early in the morning, working on Above the Noise. You can go to, now get this website. I couldn't get abovethenoise.com. Now you can go to beforethenoise.com. And then you can click on the menu and it says courses and you can hit that. It'll take you over to the Above the Noise site. Let me tell you, I haven't even told David this. He's going to laugh at me. I bought the URL, the website, getontop.life. Getontop.life. You perverts. Getontop.life. But no, I'm going to tell people to go to beforethenoise.com and then they can go to the courses there and they'll click on it. And I've got some people who have messaged me and said, well, see, Linda Adams has got that dirty mind. She said that sounds nasty. You don't know nothing about all that life, Linda. Don't you come in here acting all thug and street. You don't know nothing about that life. I'll see Linda on Thursday night. I better see Linda Thursday night. Do-Si-Do in Spring, Texas. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, I've had some people because there's a subscription to that. If you're going to take the classes, if I'm going to put in the work to do the classes on top of everything else I'm going to do, there will be some investment to it. I want you to, and again, I'm pricing it. We'll do some scholarships. We'll do some things like that. There will also be some free stuff that will be on there as well, because I love you and I love doing it and I'm enjoying all of this, and so we're going to do it. But there is a subscription price, a monthly deal, and I've had people message me and say, I can't afford it right now. Okay. I don't need to know that information. We'll deal with that. It's still getting started, so we'll have some stuff that'll come along where you'll have to do it. You'll get to do it, and we'll have some scholarships and things like that. But see, somebody's got to pay to keep the lights on around here. I'm doing Before the Noise for free, but I enjoy doing it. I'm basically doing this show for free, too. We'll talk about American financing in just a little while. But first, let's talk about the American veteran. It's Veterans Day. Thank you to the veterans out there. Party Foul Steve's a Marine. So many guys I could list right now. The American veteran, I was just with a bunch of boys this last week. And I'm always thankful for them. I was just thinking about, the sacrifice that's made. Now, I came along. I graduated high school when Desert Storm was happening, right? And then, I was graduating, went off to school, University of Georgia. And I knew a lot of guys that enlisted, went into the military right in there at that point in time. And then after, of course, 9/11 happened 10 years later, there was a lot of people that went in. There wasn't that drive for a lot of people to jump into the military at that point when I was in high school, because there was 9/11 had not happened yet. And that was a major impetus, right, for a lot of people to join up. And I like to talk about veterans and active duty military members particularly, but veterans today, not in that polite once a year kind of way where we just, post a photo on our social media. Like, I don't even really like doing that because it becomes so cliche with the whole thank you for your service thing, and I am very thankful. But I like to kind of stop and just kind of really consider and remind myself and all of us that everything we are, every freedom we have, every luxury we enjoy, every one of them, every complaint that we're allowed to voice was purchased by someone who wore the uniform and was willing to die for it. The American veteran is the reason you woke up free this morning. They're the invisible foundation under every ordinary day we experience. The quiet man or woman that doesn't need a headline, the woman and man that doesn't need the platform, the soldier whose name never appears on a movie screen, but whose sacrifice gives us the right to sit in that theater and watch the movie, right? I'm rereading First Blood. I want to encourage everybody to go back and read First Blood. Again, Richard Morrell's book is not the Rambo of Sylvester Stallone version. What happens in the actual First Blood book that was written in, 1970, 71, something like that? That shows the real, that was a book that really started to expose the PTSD of the American veteran coming home from Vietnam. Now we talk about that pretty plainly. But I'm rereading First Blood, just thoroughly enjoying rereading this. But if you think that's the Sylvester Stallone version that you saw in the movie theater, not the same. Trust me, they derived it from that, but not the same. It's a pretty brutal book. And I'm watching this, I'm reading this, and I'm thinking about veterans. I'm thinking about the veterans that didn't just sign up for a job, didn't clock in for the benefits or the weekends off, but signed a blank check payable to the United States of America for an amount up to and including his life. I mean, that's more than a transaction. That's a covenant loyalty, right? That's a depth of commitment that most people could barely imagine. And, while we were growing up laughing and learning and building families and careers, there were men and women that were standing in the deserts and the jungles and the frozen mountains and the deep seas, standing between evil and innocence, between tyranny and liberty, between chaos and order. They went so far from home, they went that far from home so that home could stay safe. I put it that way. The veterans sleeping in the mud, burning in the heat, the freezing cold under the skies that are lit up by artillery fire instead of fireworks that we enjoy on the 4th of July. Seeing things no human being should have seen and still somehow comes home, shakes our hand And how many people do I say, thank you for your service? And they're like, you know what? I'd go do it again. Ready to go do it right now. And a lot of times they come home instead and they try to fit into a world that often forgets what they did or never knows what they did. We got them sleeping on the streets. We got homeless veterans. We got mental conditions. We got veteran suicides that are happening. I mean, when you dig into that, it's horrendous. The veteran knows the price of freedom because he paid it in blood and sweat and silence. The missed birthdays and the anniversaries, the births of his own children, he buried his friends, walked through that fear so we could walk through safety. And when he came home, too often he found a nation that moved on without him, one that takes freedom as an entitlement instead of a miracle. It's one of the things that pisses me off about this generation we live in. That miracle exists because of the veteran. You can worship freely. You can not worship at all because of a veteran. You can criticize your government because of the veteran. You can chase a dream, start a business, speak your mind on a street corner because somewhere at some point a veteran said, not on my watch. The flag you see waving that some people want to protest and burn isn't just a piece of cloth, it's a living testament. Every ripple of that fabric moves with the breath of those who swore to keep it standing. And it moves with the last heartbeat of those who never came home. And if you could hear it whisper, I think that flag would say, remember me, live in a way that makes that sacrifice worth it. So today and every day, I hope that when you see a veteran, you understand what you're really seeing. You're seeing a man or woman who offered up their youth, their body, their mind, their peace so that you could have yours. Some came back whole, some came back broken. Some didn't come back at all, but all of them are part of the sacred lineage of American freedom. And we're the people who sometimes forget the cost of the blessings that we carry because we scroll through the headlines and argue over the politics online and we fight each other while the real heroes, they're not arguing. They're just sitting quietly in the back, unseen, uncelebrated, but absolutely and utterly essential. The veteran is the living proof that courage still exists and that honor still matters and that freedom is never free. So if you want to thank a veteran, then live free, but live grateful and exercise your rights, but don't take them for granted. Listen to me, young folks, if you're out there, tell your grandkids about this. I know we got an older audience here. That's why voting is important. We got to vote with conviction. We got to speak up, but do it with some courage. Raise your kids to understand what that uniform means. And when you see that flag, it drives me crazy when I go to a ball game and people just flippantly just ignore it, keep on walking or talking. I want to smack them. Because they don't understand the opportunity and the privilege to be able to stand with a purpose and freedom. Stand knowing that somebody once stood for you and they bled so that I could stand there and put my hand over my heart and sing that song. So we don't just owe our veterans a debt of gratitude. We owe them everything, literally everything, our breath, our safety, our every way of life. Every time you hear the Star-Spangled Banner, every time you watch fireworks on the 4th of July, every time you wake up in peace, you got to remember who paid for it because the story of America isn't written by politicians or pundits or podcast hosts. It's written by the blood and valor of the American veteran. So as long as we remember that this nation was built on something on the level of that sacrifice, then I think that we're going to continue to stand as a nation. But the day we forget, that's the day freedom's going to fade away, and we're starting to see that. So let's remember that we're all heirs of a sacrifice. Let's live like people who know the cost. Let's live those lives that prove we were worth what they gave, because the American veteran didn't fight for fame or reward. He fought for you. He fought for me. He fought for the idea that this imperfect nation could still be a light to the world. And for that, there aren't enough words, not enough medals, not enough monuments. There's only one response that will ever be enough: to live every single day in a way that honors the price they paid. Because the freedom isn't a right that you have. You're not just born with it. It's a gift that you're handed. It's passed down. It was the American veteran who wrapped it, protected it, placed it in your hands, and we owe them everything. And I mean absolutely everything. Let me see those American flags in the chat. Blow it up. Beep, 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 beep. I start talking about veterans like that, and Linda gets all, she gets all verklempt, don't you, Linda? Get a little sweaty under the collar, don't you? You know Linda likes a crew cut. I love you, Linda. I love you, girl. Oh, my gosh. What do we got? Let's talk about our friends over at American Finance. And what if you could delay your next 2 mortgage payments? That's right. Imagine putting those 2 payments in your pocket. Finally getting a little breathing room is possible when you call American Financing today. If you're feeling stretched by those everyday expenses, and a lot of people are, the groceries, the gas, the bills are piling up. And you got Thanksgiving and Christmas coming, too. Listen, there's a lot of people feeling that. A lot of Americans are putting these expenses on credit cards. It just doesn't seem like there's a way out. But there is. At least you can get some help. And American Financing can show you how to use your home's equity to pay off that debt. You need to call American Financing today before you get to a point where you can't make those payments. They got salary-based mortgage consultants, which is cool because they're not trying to upsell you so they can get a bigger commission. They'll help you restructure your loans, consolidate debt, all without the upfront fees. And a lot of customers out there, most of them actually are saving an average of $800 a month. That's like a $10,000 raise every year. Fast, simple, and could save your budget this summer. Call them, AmericanFinancing.net/Chad, but call them at 888-631-4143. That's 888-961-4143, AmericanFinancing.net/Chad, NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org. How about that, Daddy? How about that? I feel good. I feel good. I'd love to bring Party Foul Steve on, but he's stalking. Is he in this chat? He's not. He's out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. He's out in the middle of nowhere. Look at the, let's get to the top stories today. Come on. And I have to say, I know that in the last couple of days, last week or so, the video starts lagging a little bit. We were talking with our studio people, our tech guys yesterday about trying to get that fixed. And we're still not quite sure how to do that. It's not on our end. Our internet is good, screaming fast at this point. But we know it's lagging. The audio, I think, has been pretty good. But anyway, we'll see how it works out today. Americans, veterans, this is the White House. Safeguard our nation's birthright of freedom. Check out this video. Take a look at this.
Across oceans, jungles, mountains, and deserts, and battlefields and enemy camps across the globe, our veterans fought and bled to vanquish our enemies and preserve America's birthright of freedom. Because of you, America is safe. Because of you, America is strong. Because of you, America is free. And because of you, America will forever remain the bravest, mightiest, and greatest nation on the face of the earth.
I like it. Pretty powerful stuff. Take a look at this. Got an 18-year-old, Will Burrell. He's starting a burger joint where veterans eat free. How's he doing that? Who knows about this story? Doing handwritten notes on the bags because they care about vets' mental health. He says, we donate veterans' mental health. We try and spread mental health positivity and awareness. His great-grandfather served in World War II. I like this kid already. Play the clip.
So growing up, he always taught me to do the right thing and give back to others. So every chance I get, I like to help people out, and especially those who serve for us.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
Where did it start?
It started actually this past winter. I was 17, a junior in high school. I hosted a 60-person sit-down dinner, and we raised $1,500 for the Gary Sinise Foundation. Nice. And that supported the firefighters in LA.
Why'd you pick Sinise?
Sinise, one of the Green Berets I've worked with in the past, he recommended it to me because it's a very clean, healthy foundation, and he does a great job.
Wow.
So, okay, tell me about burgers and hospitality. What's your specialty?
So we use straight brisket, and then I have a little bit of a bacon jam, so it's a little sweet, but not too sweet.
Do you make the bacon jam?
I don't. I'm working on making my own.
You're going to make your own?
Yeah.
Do you have aspirations to continue to do this kind of work? Like, would you like to have your own business
I'd love
in the future?
Yeah, I love giving back and seeing the smile on people's faces when they read those bags. We write these.
What does it say on the bag?
It says, someone thinks you were the best. So we write these handwritten notes. Just, we donate to veterans' mental health. We try and spread mental health, positivity, and awareness. So I love seeing the smile on people's faces.
Your parents must be very proud of what you're doing.
Yep.
What do they tell you?
They tell me that they're proud all the time, and they always have a big smile on their face.
What do your friends say?
My friend, he's actually over there right now.
What's his name?
That's Rick, my friend.
Hey,
Rick
Rick.
Giordano.
Rick, you're too shy. What does Rick say?
My friends love it. He loves it. A lot of support at school.
The reason I ask you that is because you're setting an example, and your peers are looking at you. You think about that?
I do. I think they shine on the field. They have all their own talents, and everyone has to shine in their own way. So if I can give back, that makes me feel good.
Tell me about your great-grandfather and his service.
Yeah, he served in World War II, and he actually met my great-grandmother while he was serving as well.
Overseas?
Yeah, overseas.
And they came back together?
Yep.
And when you meet
Got him a
veterans
little French
today,
girl,
do you have an example of maybe someone that's stuck in your mind or in your heart that you think that you've made a difference in?
Yeah, there was this group of U.S. Coast Guard members who came to the store this summer, actually. It was great timing. So they sat down, got burgers. It's right after we went public with the free meals for veterans. And, you know, seeing the smile on their face, they were ecstatic. And it just felt great to give back to them.
Cool. I got to think about you thinking about your own future.
I got to look this kid up right here. I am Will's Smashburgers. He's on Instagram. He's got, check him out here now. I love this kid. Will's Smashburgers. He's got 2,600 followers on Instagram. Old school flavor, new school mission. We give back to veterans. Come hungry, leave happy. I love this kid. I'm going to follow him. I want to see what he's all about. How cool is that, man? You know, I've known a few kids like this. It just, I mean, if 17, 18 years old who just get out there and do stuff like this. And this is fantastic. These are the stories that just make my heart swell up. I love this. I don't know what it is about these kids that can't brush their hair when they're going on national television or just getting out of bed, but whatever. I got to pick on somebody, right? He's such a fascist, though. He's probably a Nazi. Like, he probably, you know, he's probably one of those guys that just doesn't like the downtrodden. How dare he wear an American flag on his Will Smashburger? I say, this is the thing, you know. This is the kind of thing, just stop. There's some good people out there that just love the country. He says, these veterans are sacrificing their lives so we can put stuff together like this. Soon to be a high school senior. He's in, where is this at? That's, oh, come on. Why do I get all these ads that pop up? Because people like to get paid. Long Island. Okay, I missed that part. He's in Long Island. I thought it said New York. That burger looks pretty good. Now I want a smash burger. You know what? Look at this. There he is right there. That's his deal. Wills_Smashburgers. Go follow him on Instagram. He's got his email there. WillBurlInfo at, what was that, Gmail? Shoot him a good, encouraging message. I like it, man. I'm fired up about this kid. You know who doesn't have a hair problem is John Fetterman. John Fetterman, here's what he had to say. Fetterman's going to be voting red here pretty soon. He's already kind of leaning that way. I mean, who knew the guy was going to get a lobotomy and become the voice of reason for Democrats? Play the clip.
I mean, so relieved. I think my party crossed a line of now putting 42 million Americans with their SNAP benefits and making flying less safe and that kinds of chaos and not paying our military. I mean, that was a red line for me that I can't cross as a Democrat. And I think that's been described, country over the party. And now I think that's been the truth throughout it. And it's only wrong to shut our government down. And I'm relieved. But the people now that are going to get paid and fed and millions of Americans, they're going to be flying now. That's going to be made more safe and restored.
Now I want to unpack this. And David, while you're back there, go over to Harry Sisson's X. Just hold your breath and do it. I know you don't want to deal with old Harold. But go over to Harry Sisson and scroll down, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 tweets there. I don't know how many he's done in the last 24 hours. But he had one out there where he said, you know, he's so disappointed. Pathetic, I think is what he said, where he talked about how this wannabe dictator, Donald Trump, how these Democrats crossed over and voted with the Republicans to end this shutdown. Now, according to John Fetterman right here, he just said he was disappointed with his party because, again, people were losing their benefits and they weren't able to eat. So what happened to this being a Trump shutdown? I thought this was a Republican shutdown. I thought this was a no kings thing, right? I thought the whole deal, or were they just trying to drum all this stuff up? Now, Harry says the same thing. Absolutely pathetic. Can't believe we caved to this wannabe dictator and his goons thanks to the Democrats who voted no. We'll remember who bent the knee. Well, Harry, look at even Gavin Newsom says pathetic. So you guys are both saying that you didn't want people to eat? You wanted grandma to die? You wanted planes to fall out of the sky? What's the deal? See, that's the difference between the Smashburger kid and these pinheads right here. They can't get it straight. So now they're admitting this was Chuck Schumer's Democrat shutdown. The whole reason Chuck did the shutdown is because he didn't want to get primaried by AOC in the Senate. That's the bottom line. So sick of weak Democrats. Look at what Harry says. We need fighters who will stand up to Trump and MAGA. We need a big tent of fighters, not folders. Yeah. Well, they might have bent the knee, but Harry, you tend to bend both knees, buddy. So, again, they're all hypocrites on this deal. But good on John Fetterman for talking some common sense. We got to play this clip. It's Veterans Day. This thing, this 100-year-old veteran, you've seen it a million times, where he says, this ain't what I fought for. Carl Dickel, this is a year or two old, a couple years old. Play a little bit of this
If I
clip.
wake up in the morning and see these plants out here and all those flowers that are in there and the green grass on the ground, that's beautiful. This is not the fault. Going down the drain we fought for and the boys that died for it. It's all going down the drain. Our country's going to hell in a handbasket. We haven't got the country we had when I was raised. Not at all. Nobody will have the fun I had. Nobody
All right, stop it
will
right
have
there.
the opportunity
I love that old
I
guy.
had.
I love that video. I don't like the music overlay on it because you can't hear what he's got to say. But I love that old guy because he's like, this ain't what we fought for. Look at that chest full of medals, man. Something to be proud of. Something to be proud
People
of,
don't
baby.
realize what they have.
Yeah, thank you, David.
They bitch about it.
Yeah.
And then nowadays, I am so upset that the things we did and the things we fought for and the boys that died for it, it's all going down the drain. Our country's going to hell in a handbasket. We haven't got the country we had when I was raised. Not at all. Nobody will have the fun I had. Nobody will have the opportunity I had. This is not the same. That's not what our boys, that's not
right.
what they died for.
That old man right there drank water out of the creek. Now, I'm telling you right there. And you know what? He's got the right to cry. He's got the right to weep over what's been lost. I mean, imagine the things that he saw and have seen. I was walking around quoting Scent of a Woman last night, that Al Pacino movie where he's like, he says, if I wasn't so tired, if I wasn't so old, if I wasn't so effing blind, if I was the man I was 5 years ago, I'd take a flamethrower to this place. Bad man. Gets me fired up. Take a look at this. There's this UK veteran. And this guy's right, because you know what? The UK has surrendered itself, its freedoms, to Islam and invasion. The country surrendered itself to the world. Listen to what this guy has to say. Play the clip.
What does Remembrance Sunday mean for you? What is your message?
My message is, I can see in my mind's eye those rows and rows of white stones of all the hundreds of my friends and everybody else that gave their lives for what? The country of today. No, I'm sorry. The sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
What do you mean by that, though? At this point?
What we fought for, and what we fought for was our freedom. We find that even now it's darn sight worse than what it was when I fought for it.
Oh, Alec, I'm sorry you feel like that, because I want you to know that all the generations that have come since, including me and my children, are so grateful for your bravery and all that for service personnel. And it's our job now, isn't it, to make it the country that you fought for. You absolutely fought for.
Is it.
And we will do. We want to...
I'm so wonderful to know there are people like you that can spread the word around.
We will do.
Younger generation.
And I guarantee that everybody watching at home will be wanting you to send lots of love. We've got another little bit...
Stop it, because I can't listen to her voice. And again, it's just they're going to come out there, they're going to award them, they're going to do all this kind of stuff, and it's really nice. Play a little bit of that right there.
What does...
A lot of the songs on there.
Look at this.
And this is the least we can do. This is such a small thing, but, you know, we love you so much, Ali.
And it's all signed for you there as
These
well.
young ladies are like my own daughters.
You know, when these talking heads in the media, well, what do you mean by that? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Why do you feel like that? Well, he's watched his country quite literally go to shite, is what he's watched. That's why he feels like that. It ain't Mary Poppins anymore. You know, I posted a video yesterday of all these Muslims in the street chanting and shouting and doing all that in Texas, for crying out loud, because apparently Texas is now an Islamic sanctuary state. And, you know, we've gotten our priorities mixed. And somebody sent me a message and they said, okay, you're posting about it. What do we do about it? I said, I'll tell you what we do about it. We out-chant them. We out-voice them. We're still the greater population, right? I mean, we just voted 77 million people voted for Donald Trump right in the last election. Why aren't we in the streets? Why aren't we chanting what we believe in? I mean, you got these dadgum gender-confused homosexuals in Portland, Oregon that can't figure out how to make their own meatloaf, so they got to call for mama upstairs to come do it and beg for more Wi-Fi while they sit butt naked in a folding lawn chair and type out their little crap as trolls on the internet, and they're dressed up like furries in front of an ice station protesting everything. Where are the patriots? Where are the American patriots? Red-blooded, hard-working, hardcore. And don't come at me and say, Chad, but what have you done? You don't want that list. You don't want that resume. You want to start penny pinching and taking notes on the things I've done? Oh, we go down a list. I can list a number of things that I've done and continue to do. And put myself out there consistently. I'm telling you, we're still the majority. Don't post your map up there of all the red of the voting block and then the little blue in the major cities. But we're not to go, if we're not willing to go to the city council meetings, if we're not willing to go to the Board of Education meetings, if we're not willing to join the school board, run for office, be a precinct chair, whatever it may be. And that's why I love what David Medina does. Producer David there in Portland. He's in the devil's fire, man, the belly of the beast. So when you have these old veterans going, this is not the same world we fought for. It's not the same world. And people are like, oh, what makes you feel like that, mate? Well, it might be the fecal matter rolling down the street where some dude's defecating. It might be the $5,300 prepaid debit cards in the five-star hotels going to illegal aliens while veterans are sleeping out in the cold. It might be government shutdowns with purple-headed senators and congressmen are barking and crying and bitching because their teammates bent the knee so people could eat again or whatever. In the meantime, you know what they're upset about? Because we couldn't subsidize health care. Health care to who? Veterans? I didn't hear that. You got a freaking 17-year-old kid in Long Island, New York who's doing more to feed veterans than the American government's doing. That's the problem, mate. That's the problem. That's why I feel that way. That's the problem. Because he's a 17-year-old boy in Long Island, New York who's making a smash burger, mate. Why do we feel that way? Well, maybe because a bunch of people who want Sharia law are chanting and death to America and Iran and then importing that. I'm trying to be good for Jesus, man. I'm trying. But my God, we've become such a stupid society. Such a stupid society. We walk around with our faces in our phones, pissed off because somebody didn't get enough vanilla in your flat white at the Starbucks. And we look at these veterans who are weeping and crying. What was it he said in Son of a Woman? I've seen boys with their arms ripped off, their legs blown off. But you're ripping souls out of these men. They don't make a prosthetic for your soul. The soul has been ripped out of the American patriot, man. We're on an apology tour. We're supposed to, you know what Barack Obama did? He brought us down to the level where we were supposed to bow to these other nations. You get that soldier up there, that 100-year-old American veteran, that UK veteran right there. Those men, you know, they're at 100 years of age. I bet they don't bow down to anybody. And you know what? They shouldn't. Chest full of medals. Those aren't participation trophies, folks. They earned those in blood. We go back to that White House video that was there. And they are looking around at a bunch of snot-nosed brats. And I'm not just talking about age. I'm talking about 50-year-olds who are more worried about their 401k, more worried about whether or not, you know, the people at the detail shop got their Lambo fixed up just right. And meanwhile, our liberties and our freedoms and our laws and our rights and all this kind of, and you say, oh, I'm free. You're not free. You're not free of anything. The only thing you're free to do is cross state lines without showing your papers at this point in time. You're not free. You don't get to keep your money. You don't even get to keep your own property if it's paid for. You don't get to because they're going to tax the hell out of you. I get fired up about this stuff, man. Don't worry, Linda. I got plenty of blood pumping to my head. All of them. Hey, why is the problem? I'm sorry that you feel that way. Shut up, Mary Poppins. Spoonful of sugar makes the liberty go down. Sorry that you feel that way. And in Trump, you know what? While I'm mad, let me go ahead and be mad at Trump too, because this is something that pisses me off. Trump's going to bring these 600,000 Chinese students into our universities. Oh. Thank you, Laura Ingram, for at least pushing back. Play the clip.
You've said as many as 600,000 Chinese students could come to the United States. Why, sir, is that a pro-MAGA position when so many American kids want to go to school and there are places not for them, and these universities are getting rich off Chinese money?
Sure. Never said about China, but we do have a lot of people coming in from China. We always have, China and other countries. We also have a massive system of colleges and universities. And if we were to cut that in half, which perhaps makes some people happy, you would have half the colleges in the United States go out of business.
So what?
Okay.
Well, I think that's a big deal.
Are they fans
You would have the
of the
historically,
United States?
Yeah, but you would have, as you know, historically black colleges and universities would all be out of business. You would have a system of colleges and universities would
so
go
we're
down the
dependent on
tubes.
China to keep our university system going?
But I think it's good to have, I actually think it's good to have outside countries. Look, I want to be able to get along with the world.
They're not the French. They're the Chinese. They spy on us. They steal our intellectual property.
What, do you think the French are better?
Yeah.
I mean, really? I don't know. I'll tell you, I'm not so sure. We've had a lot of problems with the French where we get taxed very unfairly on our technology, where, you know, they put 25% taxes on American products. Look, assuming everyone treats us badly, because that's the way I am, but we take in trillions of dollars from students. You know, the students pay more than double when they come in from most foreign countries. I want to see our school system thrive, but at the same time, I want to, I know you and I disagree. We're never going to agree on it, but that's okay. And it's not that I want them, but I view it as a business. We have millions and millions of.
Here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that, Mr. President. You got 3 more years and then you're gone. Guess who's still here? The 600,000 that you let in under the guise of education. They will steal our technology. They will not only help shape it, but they will take it back home with them. They will buy land. We're already seeing that happen. It's already been happening. Nothing is being done about that. And no, China is not the same as France. Yes, I don't need to do I'm not buying my technology from France. They can keep their stinky cheese and wine. I don't need the goods from France. China, on the other hand, we've become economically dependent on it. Now I'm going to bring and they're all communists, every one of them. The ones they're sending here who can afford to come here, these aren't soon to be American capitalists. So Trump will be gone, and guess who's going to stay? I mean, cancer is good for business. Cancer is great for business. That's the reason they don't cure it. That's the reason you have oncologists. That's why there's billions upon billions of dollars a year is spent in cancer, quote, research, cancer treatment. Cancer is fantastic for business. I mean, anyone in the chat care to disagree with me on this? I mean, to say I want them here because it's good for business, and to say historically black colleges and universities are going to go under if we don't let the Chinese in here. I don't see a lot of Chinese people at Morehouse. You know, I don't see a lot of Chinese people over at Grambling. I don't see that. So, no, I have to disagree with you on that. This is a bad idea. You say, well, we'll get Marco Rubio or no, it doesn't matter. Let me ask you this. What if you don't? What if you get Kamala Harris? What if you get AOC and you've allowed 600,000 Chinese CCP students to come in here? What if you get the next version of Barack Obama? What if you get another brain-dead puppet who doesn't know what's going on like Joe Biden? What if you get that and they're here? See, it's one thing to allow cancer into the body. It's another thing not to manage those rebellious cells. What if you get somebody in here that thinks that actually the cancer's a good thing? Because again, they don't just take your information, education, and technology and just go home and live in peace. No. That's not the way it goes. So these people that want to say, you never call out Donald Trump. Shut up. Watch the show. Some of you like the Before the Noise, Chad. Thank God for this therapy session. Trump had this to say about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't even know what to think about Marjorie Taylor Greene at this point. Play this clip.
I passed a great, big, beautiful bill, which is the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country. So when somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's now catering to the other side, I don't know what, I guess she's, got some kind of an act going, but I'm surprised at her. But when somebody like Marjorie goes over and starts making statements like that, it shows she doesn't know. I passed a great, big, beautiful.
Yeah. I can't say what I want to say here because I just can't. I will violate some relationships that I've got there but bringing their name into a conversation and they're not here to defend themselves. But I don't know what's going on with Marjorie Taylor Greene either. Berkeley. You know where they're not making smash burgers for veterans? Berkeley. This woman holds her two daughters as she tries to rush them through the screaming crowd of masked Antifa members that are screaming at every attendee who leaves tonight's events. Antifa protesters blocked every entrance, tried to swarm the attendees. They found out the one unblocked exit they were using. Play this clip. Check it out. This is why I stay at the little cabin in the woods right here. And Tiffany, I see this. Tiffany, I know that you like to agree with Trump no matter what comes out of Trump's mouth, but that's not common sense or critical thinking. And I know you love me, but I'm going to call him out when he's wrong. And letting 600,000 Chinese students in this country is wrong. Wrong. Say it to his face. I'd say it right to his face in his gilded Oval Office. The Chinese do not want America. They want to take over America. And as for these little cancer cells right here, look at them. This is why we do these things. Drag them out. Man. I mean, what do you think you're going to get? I mean, again, the kid, you know. These people really are a one-chord song. There's the purple hair. It's always going to be there. What'd you say in my ear there, David? What'd you say? Yeah, you make a great point, David. David said 600,000 Chinese students are going to help that situation out. Do you really think that's going to help that situation out? I don't think it is. I don't think that's going to help that out at all. Oh, and by the way, if you do get a $2,000 check from the tariffs, I'm not holding my breath on anything. I don't anticipate getting a check. I don't want stimulus money. I don't want any tariff money. I don't want any of that stuff. Pay down the debt, for crying out loud. Let's balance a checkbook and do a little governance in this big government blob. But if you celebrated no kings and you protest no kings, don't you spend that king's money on that tariff refund, okay? Don't you do it. I want Will Smashburgers there at Berkeley. That's what I want. Burger looked pretty good. All right, let's get to the pinheads of the day, folks. Da-da-da. Maybe. There it is. Is that our cartoon? Is that SpongeBob? Is that a little deal? Patrick? Is that his name? Here's a liberal woman that hopes she gets drafted. She hopes conservatives get drafted.
I hope other people don't eat. I hope you don't eat. I hope other people learn how to get jobs and get off their asses. I hope you go broke. I hope other people learn how to. I hope you learn how to fucking read, you dumb, illiterate fuck.
Wow.
Matter of fact, and I'm going to be 100% with you, I think anybody that's out here screaming right now about they hope they don't ever get SNAP benefits back, I hope you get drafted. I hope you get drafted because it's all y'all motherfuckers that sit around silver spoon fed, acting like you're big dick shit when you.
You know what she could do? She could take that Marlboro she's smoking and stick it right there in the gap of that teeth and just hold it there. She doesn't even have to take it out to talk. She could just stick it right there and just be like, let me tell all y'all something. Once I get done out of the softball fields, I'm going to come out there and I'm going to show all y'all how to protest. That's what I'm going to do. And let me tell you something. Let me put my cigarette back where my tooth is supposed to be. And let me come out. Let me just tell all y'all about this thing. They need the Lord, man. You know, I talked about this morning. These people ain't got no peace. They're living in fear. Jesus comes, walks in the middle of the room with them. And again, you know what? I laugh at this stuff. I ridicule. I mock this stuff. I do that because that's my job. That's what I do. But let me tell you something. It doesn't take a single thing away from my Christian faith. And I can listen to people talk trashy like this. It doesn't offend me. Because the God that lives inside of me, the God that envelops my life, he's bigger than anybody else's language. So see, those kind of things, they don't get me triggered. I just don't get worried about stuff like that. In fact, the Bible says the man that loves the Lord doesn't get offended. The man that loves the word doesn't get offended. That's over there. What's that, Psalm 94? Got to go look that up. If you love the Lord, you love his word, keep his precepts, you don't get offended. I don't get offended by this. I mock it. I ridicule it. Jesus did it. I'm doing it too. He ridiculed people. He ridiculed people all the time, especially the religious leaders, the people that thought they had it all together. He ridiculed them all the time. When I see somebody like this, I want to sit there and go, well, let me tell you about them SNAP benefits. I'm going to be over here and we're going to do that when I smoke my Marlboro Red here. Okay. You deserve to be ridiculed. You're a pinhead of the day. Let's play the next one. Chicago. They don't like the term illegal alien. Okay,
telling you, I don't believe anyone is an illegal alien.
I do.
That's a terrible term to use about anyone.
It's illegal. It's a legal term.
It's not a legal term. They used to call black people slaves legally, and it was wrong. Let's stop dehumanizing people. Let's start treating people right.
I could make some arguments on that. I mean, legally, the term slave, I mean, that was the legal term. Always has been. But to call somebody, didn't make it right. No. But again, you can't start changing the language, bro. Like the word alienus from the Latin means other. It's from another place, belonging to another place or thing. Alienus. I mean, you just get into the etymology of the word. Anyway, I'm offended. That dehumanizes people. Well, I mean, what are we supposed to do? Call everybody by their first name? You just call them all people. You just categorized them right there. So you see where we start to get into this dilemma when you start trying to use language that is normal, common language against people. We're dehumanizing people. Well, you call them all by their first name then. We're supposed to, you're dehumanizing them, you're categorizing them by just calling them in a lump sum category of people. Anyway, I'm stretching it, but you get the point. They're illegal because they crossed the border, circumvented our law, and came in here illegally. And they're aliens because they're from another place. Also, official, nobody should be. You got to stop. All right. What in the world have we got here? DEI hires. Let's do it. Play the clip. Wow. I need to see that from the beginning again. I need to see that one cop running up. I got... What's this? Oh! Wow, they're tickling her to get her hands back there. They're tickling her. They're tickling, that's a woman, right? They're tickling the woman in order to get her to cooperate. They should have pillow fights. Wow. I'm glad Party Foul Steve isn't here. He actually does bring the worst out of me. He's out stalking. If Steve Powell has taken the entire last 2 weekends and these 2 days out in the woods, and he don't come home with some meat, you know what? Let's get him on the phone. He's going to be mad at me if I call, isn't he? Should I call him, David? Should I call him? I think I should. What do y'all think there in the chat? Should I call Party Foul Steve? Let's see if he's got a signal out there. Let's see. Let's see if he's got a signal. It's calling, but it's not going through. See?
Telephone number 9.
Whoa, we can't do that. We can't do that, can we? I bet he's got his phone turned off. Y'all want his phone number? How about it in the live chat? Y'all want to call him?
Telephone number 9.
Help me, Jesus. Help me, Jesus. Can we go back to that DEI cop one more time when she's running up there kind of duck-footed and she just gets crossways with herself and she just tumbles out there in the grass? I got to get a longer table or shelf. There's too much dead space over here in this studio, here in the little cabin in the woods. I want to see this woman fall down one more time. What? She really got the wobble legs. Look at that. What is going on? Oh boy. All right. You guys doing okay? All right, just turn it around. Stop it, David. You're going to get me tickled again. Oh, man. David's in my ear, and you guys can't hear it. And that's probably a good thing. All I hope you guys are celebrating Veterans Day. Celebrate it, celebrate it, celebrate it. And I'll be at Do-Si-Do Thursday night, Spring, Texas. Go to watchchad.com for all the fun stuff is. Friday night down at Barge 295 Spring, Seabrook, Texas. And then we've got Tulsa coming up at the Looney Bin. Brad Stein and I are going to be 3 nights, 5 shows there in Tulsa. Hope you guys will come over to that. I'm going to give you my final thoughts in just a minute. Let me take a look at the chat here, see what you guys are saying. Do me a favor. 2 things. 1, if you didn't leave a thumbs up, if you didn't watch Before the Noise this morning, Linda, if you didn't watch it, go back to Before the Noise, go back to something, and go back and click like or the thumbs up on Rumble, okay? Do it. I need to be above 1,000 likes. It helps the algorithm. It's like it shows the engagement stuff. And, Linda's got that number. Linda's got that number. Linda's asleep at 7 a.m. You know what? Maybe if you didn't burn the midnight oil, Linda, you know, a few less Miller Lights, Linda. That's all it's got to be. I'll buy you some on Thursday night. WatchChad.com is where all the fun stuff is. You can go over to, what was the website? Oh, the new website for the new Above the Noise? GetOnTop.life. I love it so much. I had to do it. Just because I knew it was going to make David laugh. We're going to take you guys deeper than any seminary will ever take you. GetOnTop.life. It's going to be fun, man. You can go to BeforeTheNoise.com and go to the courses. Get on top! Top life! Look at that girl. She finally got composed. Go back to her. She's kind of cute. What's she looking like? She's just glad they finally got that girl. Don't pull her by the hair. That hair comes off. I don't know if y'all know that. I don't know if y'all know that or not. All right, let me do some final thoughts here for Veterans Day. Let me just, give it up, man. Let's do some Chad's final word. All right, guys. As I said at the beginning, freedom's not an accident, man. It is not inevitable. It's not inevitable. And we know that we live in a country. We can make fun of all this stuff. We can laugh at these people, and we can call out some things with common sense and ridicule because we know that what we have here is a product of blood and courage and an unshakable belief that this nation was actually worth dying for. You know, the American veteran is the bridge between what America was and what it still can be. They should be a sign of that, right? They carry that torch of liberty through some of the darkest nights, and most of the time without any applause and without any thanks and gratitude, and sometimes without even coming home. And so we tend to talk about patriotism around here like it's just a word, but to them it's actually a wound. You know, it's a promise, it's a brotherhood. And they didn't just fight the enemies, they fought the despair and the distance and the depression and the doubt. They're still dealing with it. Some of my friends that are veterans will be at the show Thursday night. I know some guys that'll be there who have been through a lot of things, man. And they still rise up, they still salute, they still came home, built families, businesses, communities. And I think that is the heartbeat of this country. And, you know, if we ever lose sight of what the veteran represents, we're going to lose a soul of our country because they are that living reminder. Every time you meet a veteran, see a veteran, and you see them wearing that hats or in their, they're just out there in the world, and we see them or we meet them, they should be a constant reminder to us that our freedoms we enjoy did require a sacrifice and some conviction that they had and a love of the country that meant something far deeper than the politics or the party lines. You know, we can never repay the American veteran, but we can honor them by living as people who deserve their sacrifice, by teaching our children what all that cost was about, not revising our history, but by guarding the freedoms that they secured for us and refusing to let this nation forget that its greatest strength isn't in its wealth or its power or 600,000 Chinese nationals being brought into our schools, but in the hearts of those who are willing to lay down their lives so that others might live free. So no, Mr. President, I don't see this as good business. I see it as bad business, and I think it dishonors the freedom and the borders and the nation that our veterans bled and died to protect. Because we don't just owe them gratitude, we owe them remembrance and integrity and courage. Because the moment we start living like freedom is a guaranteed deal is the moment we stop being worthy of that freedom. So wherever we are today, I want you to look at that American flag, put it in the chat, throw it in the chat, blow it up with that American flag. It's more than an emoji. When we put that out there, that's a prayer. Not just for the veterans who fell, but for the ones who are still standing, still fighting, still carrying the weight of all that freedom means. Because who are we really? You know, who we are because of them is everything. Imagine what we'd be without them. You know, for that, we owe them not just our thanks, but literally our lives. And we need to live those lives lived with a personal responsibility that's in honor of their lives and sacrifice. Anytime you've been to one of my shows, you've heard me say it. Some of you can say it with me. To the men and women who are willing to put on a uniform every day with the willingness to serve, sacrifice, and potentially give their lives for our freedom. I say that at every show, every live show, and I'm so thankful for them. Active duty military, but particularly today, our veterans. Happy Veterans Day. Can't believe Party Foul Steve didn't answer his phone. Is what it is. WatchChat.com is where all the fun stuff is. Join me tomorrow morning before the noise. We're actually finishing the book of John. We've worked all the way, verse by verse. We've worked all the way through the book of John. And tomorrow on Before the Noise, we finish John chapter 21. It's going to be a message of restoration. Yeah, it's going to be good. I don't know what I'm going to say, but it's going to be good. Guaranteed. Hit that like button, hit the thumbs up before you get out of here, and leave us. They got that girl's face down in the grass. I got to do more research on that video. Oh, and go give my dude that's making the smash burger, Will _Smashburgers, give him a follow on Instagram. I like that kid, all right? All right, y'all be good to yourselves. Be good about it. I'm going to go eat lunch or something. I don't know. Do something. Waste some time. David probably won't let me. He's going to make me keep talking. Anyway, I love you guys. God bless you. And go follow David at David Medina PDX, Party Foul Steve at Party Foul Steve. And I don't know. Let's see what trouble we can get into. Until then, I'll talk to you later. Bye.